if you would like to know how to kind of do this nice springtime kind of purpley tutorial, which was requested by a subscriber of mine on Blog TV the other night, please stay tuned, just keep watching. It's mostly just focused on purples and a nice kind of winged liner and a little bit of a blush on the cheekbones. And yeah, if you guys want to kind of see how to do it, just keep watching. I'm going to fill in my eyebrows first. That's something that I like to do as part of my everyday makeup routine, I suppose, but it's also quite a big look for spring, is, you know, the usual kind of look, which sounds really sad, but like every single season I see the whole filled in, thicker brow look in all the magazines like InStyle, Elle, Vogue, Harper's, whatever you want to call it. So my usual eyebrow routine is as follows. It's a MAC eyebrow pencil in Taupe. It's quite nice because it's a nice wax base, so it's kind of easy to blend but doesn't like stay put. So, you know, like sometimes with some eyebrow pencils they can be really, really heavy and you can't really blend them out. So with this one, because it's a wax base, it's much easier to clean up if you make any mistakes or anything like that, and very, very easy to blend through the hairs. So I sort of just work with my natural shape and just fill in the gaps, as you can see. So it's not too heavy, but it does give a nice shot of colour. And then I like to go over it with my Benefit Speed Brow, and this is just like a brow setting gel. It's got a little bit of colour, not a huge amount, but a little bit. And it pretty much just locks the hairs in place and stuff like that. And it's quite a nice little product if you've got unruly eyebrows like me, because mine just like wander off and start, you know, their own little eyebrow party. It's kind of annoying actually. I like to brush the hairs at the front upwards a little, and then pull the other ones up and out, like that. So you can just see the difference with this eyebrow and this eyebrow. It's quite evident. Like this one just looks a little more tame, a little bit fuller, I suppose. Another really good look for spring is like a nice kind of dolly, kind of girly blush, I suppose. And I wouldn't go with anything too bright because that's more for summer. You know, summer is like the acid brights, you know, neon look. So the kind of shades I would advise would be Well Dressed and Dame from MAC. This is Well Dressed. And as you see, it's a pretty typical, very, very, very light pink. It's really nice on almost all skin tones because it just brings out different shades within the actual colour. You know, sometimes you can get different hues, and this is just a really nice little pink. And Dame is one I would advise for, again, almost anybody, because I actually like this simply due to the kind of lilac-y hue that it has in there. It's not like pure pink, it does have a little lilac-y thing going on in there. So I'm going to use this, like I'm going to be using Dame just because of the whole kind of purpley inspired look I suppose that we're going for, but you can use Well Dressed or anything else that's kind of light, like Dandelion from Benefit would be a good one. I'm going to be applying that with a brush by Ferro, and I picked up my Ferro brushes at IMATS London, and I'm actually really enjoying them. Quite a lot of them are really, really good quality. There are a few that I'm a bit like, nah, probably because I haven't used them as much as I've used my Sigma brushes, so I do like this one a lot though. This is definitely like my favourite blush brush that I probably ever owned, and this is the Contour brush by Ferro. But I use it for blush, for highlight, for all of that, so I really enjoy it. And as you can see, the bristles can pick up a lot of colour, which is really, really helpful because, you know, sometimes you really do have to dig into your blush to get a lot out of it. So I do like kind of wobble it in and then like tap off any excess or whatever. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to focus it like that. I'm going to take it kind of here, just on the edge of my cheeks. As you can see, it's still going to give us a nice kind of flush, but it's not going to look too close to the nose. And sometimes when people put blush really close to their nose, it can sort of defeat the purpose and you sort of just look red all over rather than, like, you know, pink in the places that you want to look pink. As you can see, that's given us a really nice little pop of colour, if you will. I wouldn't say we look really, really crazy rosy, but, like, you know, it just kind of makes the skin kind of have a little bit more of a colour, a little bit more of a glow, and I really like that look on the whole. Something I would advise for a spring look would be highlighter, and make sure that you kind of make the most of your cheekbones. I wouldn't say contouring would be a huge deal. Contouring is much better for summer because you can contour with a blush and stuff, and you can really like accentuate your cheekbones and stuff, but I would really go with a highlighter. And my favourite one at the moment is NARS Albatross, and it looks very strange in the packet. It looks really like white and kind of odd, but on it's just gold and it's so beautiful. It just picks up the light nicely, and I'll apply that using my Sigma tapered highlighting brush, and this is the F35. Looks like a little old school paintbrush, but, you know, giant size. And you don't need to pick up a lot of this, mostly because, like, quite a lot comes off anyway. That's a good thing about NARS products, is that they're always heavily pigmented. So work that up the cheekbones. And as you can probably see already, because I can see in the light to begin with, that it just goes on gold. You can pull that up. I like to make a little V there, if you can see. like just past my brow bone. You can also sweep that under the brow bone. That's what I tend to do with my everyday stuff, is just make sure that when the light hits, that's where it's hitting. You can also take it up above the brow bone as well. That's what other people like to do as well. So just make that nice little V shape. For the lips, you kind of want to keep it quite simple. Again, like bright colours are in for summer, but not necessarily for spring. So in spring, I like to kind of keep things nude. So the kind of the lipstick I'm going to be using is Quiet Please by MAC, and as you can see, it's a very nice kind of goldeny nude. So it's not like blunt, you know, nude, like Nude Attitude by Rimmel London, but it's kind of got a nice little sheen in it, which I like. So that's what I'm going to be using. And you do want to pop a gloss over the top of that. I mean, kind of glossy lips for me. I'm not a huge fan of lip gloss in general. Lip gloss just gets on my nerves most of the time, depending on the formulation, because MAC lip glosses I absolutely hate. They're just so gloopy and thick, and my hair always gets caught in them, and I just, blah. But I do like Revlon lip glosses because they're just not quite so thick, and they don't feel as nasty and sticky on the lips. And it's in the shade Peach Petal. Very nude. I kind of bought this on the advice of Michelle 21. No, wait, that's right, that's her Twitter name. Michelle1218, and she's a guru on here. She's been on here for like ages, but she recommended this in one of her favourites videos, so I picked it up. I did talk about this in a video of mine ages back, but I really like it. I still use it all the time. We're going to go on to the eyes, which is the main focus of this look. As always, I like to start out with a good base, and the base that I'm going to be using is Painterly, which is a paint pot by MAC, and it's pretty basic, pretty standard, kind of skin colour, I suppose. And, I mean, I would use my Urban Decay Primer Potion, because that is actually my favourite of all time, but I've run out and I need to go and repurchase some, so this will have to do in the meantime. I just put it on with a finger, using my fourth finger, because there's less pressure on your fourth finger on the skin on your eyes. One good thing about Painterly is that it does spread quite nicely, and it doesn't tend to clump up, which sometimes I find with cream shadows. I don't know whether it's my skin or maybe it's just a formulation of the cream shadow, but they tend to sometimes clump, and I really don't like that. It's one of my like most hated things, is when, you know, you want to get a really nice smooth base and then it's like, actually no, I'm a cream shadow and I'm just going to bunch up on your eyelids and make you look like you've got conjunctivitis. I do tend to take it underneath as well, just to make sure that the creasing doesn't occur, because it's just so irritating. So the colours that I'm going to be working with were actually suggested to me by a subscriber of mine on Blog TV the other night. She said to me, could you do a springtime look, maybe kind of like around the kind of purples, I suppose? So I was like, definitely, because I love working with purples anyway, and that's a really nice idea, so I thought I would go ahead and film it for her. And basically, I'm going to be focusing the look mostly around this shade here, which is Crystal by MAC, and it's a nice lilac-y, silvery purple with a really pretty sheen on it. And I really, really like it. It's one of my all-time favourites, and it's a great shadow if you want to kind of have a nice nude, pastel-y look, nothing too heavy, but still with a good colour on it, because, you know, purples are nice to work with anyway. So I'm going to apply it with my tapered blending brush by Sigma. This is the E35. I know it's a blending brush, but I tend to apply my normal shadows with these brushes because you get much more kind of coverage of your actual eye area. And if you don't want to be too precise, because let's be honest, we're not going for like a really heavily structured look right now, you know, you don't really need to get like small, you know, pincy brushes, so that's what I'm going to be using. I'm going to sweep that across the bulk of my lid. Now you don't have to use MAC products for this look. You can use like, you know, shades by Barry M if you're from Britain, because Barry M do gorgeous purples. And you can use like NYX shades in the US and stuff like that. This just happens to be one of my favourite purples, and it's the one that I wanted to kind of base the look around. Now I'm going to take some shadows that I picked up at IMATS London when I went to visit, and they're by a company called Naked Cosmetics, and they're all mineral shadows. They're like 100% mineral. And before you ask, no, this video is not sponsored by Naked Cosmetics. I did buy these with my own money, but I like them so much that I kind of wanted to share them with you guys. I know you can get them in the US and in Europe, so have a look at their website, which I'll put in the below bar. They didn't send them to me for free, nothing like that. I just really, really like them, and I wanted to kind of share them with you. And what I like about them is that they come in these like nice cute little pot thingies. What I like with these shadows is that while they're nice nude sort of neutral shades, they've got an absolutely gorgeous purpley sheen on them. And I'm going to see if I can show it to you without it all falling out. But let's have a look. If you can see, this is like a nude sort of skin tone, but it's got a purpley sheen on it. That's what I'm going to be putting just above the crystal shadow on my, kind of like, not just on my brow bone, but like sort of on my line here, my queen, if you will, and then on the inner corner just there, because it's got such a beautiful purple sheen. That's what I kind of want to put on there. And again, you don't need to use loads of brushes. I'm using the same one, which is the E35 Taper Blending Brush by Sigma. You don't need to take very much of the pigment. That's the good thing about them as well. They spread really, really well. So I'm sure you can see in the lid the little purpley hue it's got. I'm hoping the camera will pick it up. Beautiful purpley hue. Okay, I'm going to sweep it in the inner corner. And the thing with Naked Shadows, these ones, is that they come in little sets. So you can't buy them singularly, but they do come in gorgeous sets. And I picked up the Sierra Nevada set, which is like kind of based around taupey, purpley colours. So it's basically skin tone colours with a hue of purple or lilac over the top of them. But it does come with a good black as well, so, and some nice coppers as well. As you guys know, those are like my favourite colours to work with anyway. So if you can see that beautiful purpley hue that's just picked up and really added some kind of vibrance and light to this look, I really like these shadows. I'm going to take a smaller brush now for the under eyes, and this is another one by Ferro, and this is just a sable eyeshadow brush. And as you can see, it's kind of like a nice thin brush, very good for the under eyes. And I'm going to take my Naked Shadow, just a little bit of the pigment that's left on there, and sweep that in my inner corners below my eye. Before I use crystal across the bulk of the rest of the eye. Using the same little mini eyeshadow brush by Ferro, just taking, ooh, I keep dropping crystal all the time. I'm taking crystal, which was the one that we used first across the bulk of my eyelid, and of course your eyelid too, and I'm just going to sweep that along my under eye. Now for some definition in the socket, we're not doing like huge structuring, but we just want to make, you know, the eye shape a little bit more kind of defined, I suppose. I'm taking another shadow from the Naked Cosmetics thingy that I showed you, and this is a nice taupe, but it's still got a purpley hue on it, so we're still working with the kind of purple idea. Let's hope you can, the camera's going to pick it up. But it is a taupe with a purpley kind of hue. It's very pretty. I really like it. So I'm just going to start under my eye. And I'm just focusing it in like the outer third, I think. I'm just dragging it upwards and outwards. And for definition in the socket, I'm going to be using another brush by Ferro, which is just called a socket brush. It's like a giant version of a pencil brush by MAC or Sigma, which is a 219. And I really like it. It just fits perfectly into the socket of my eye, which is great for defining my crease and stuff like that. So that's what I'm using. And as you can see, I'm just finding my crease and pushing that in there. I'm also going to focus it on the little outer, I wouldn't call it the outer V because I'm not making a V shape, I'm just using this on the outer third of my upper eyelid as well. I'm brushing it into my socket, just for a little bit of definition and shadow on the outside. The other good thing about these shadows is that there's not actually a lot of fallout, which you would expect from, you know, loose kind of pigment, I suppose, but there's not a lot. But if you do get any, just take like kind of a big powder brush and just sweep it off. I am going to be using a bit of gel liner. I'm going to be using MAC's Blacktrack, which is a Fluidline gel liner. Mine's a bit messy because I use it every single day. It's one of my favourite products. I really, really like it. It's very, very easy to blend and use. And the good thing about using a gel liner is that you can, if you're kind of going for a smoky eye, you can use it as an eyeshadow base and it keeps the black on perfectly, stops it smudging, stops it kind of falling out and like leaving random black dots on your face, because that's the most annoying thing when you're on a night out. You want your makeup to last, so I'm going to apply that with a angle brush, and the one I'm using is just another one by Ferro. Just looks like that. Pretty standard angle brush. The shape that we're going to going for is pretty simple, kind of natural, I suppose. Nice and close to the lashes. I'm making, like, I wouldn't call it a little wing, I'd just say that I'm angling it, and, okay, it's a sort of wing, I suppose. How hypocritical of me. Yeah, little tiny wing like that. It doesn't really matter how thin or how thick you want the line to be, it's kind of up to you. I've done it just so I can have a bit of definition on my eye area, because having blue eyes is kind of a pain in the arse when you're doing a makeup look, is that, you know, you need to kind of have definition around your lashes, otherwise your kind of eyes, your eyes kind of sink into oblivion and they don't really stand out as much as you'd like them to. I'm going to go on to the lashes, and as this is a daytime look, I'm not going to put on falsies. If you want to take it into night, you can use like carbon in the outer V and make it more smoky, and then add false lashes, you know, for a more dramatic effect. But I'm just going to go with mascara, but I'm going to curl my lashes just to make sure that I get the maximum kind of curl and length out of them. And I don't use any particular brand of eyelash curlers, I just use these ones I bought from Boots. As always, I like to use a combo of mascaras, and as you know, my all-time favourite combo, MaxFactor False Lash Effect Mascara. Brilliant mascara, one of my all-time favourites. Combine that with L'Oreal Volume Million Lashes Mascara, again, another one of my favourites. I like to wiggle the brush in the base of my lashes, and then just kind of pull up and out. I always start with the MaxFactor False Lash Effect and then I go on top of it with the Volume Million Lashes. Just go ahead and put mascara on your lower lashes. It's kind of up to you how much you want to put on. I tend to really define my lower lashes just because it kind of gives my eyes more of like a kind of wide-eyed, doughy, kind of Bambi look, I suppose. Now it's completely up to you if you want to use a highlight colour. I would actually advise you... Ooh, sorry, I'm making loads of noise. It's kind of up to you. If you want to use a highlight colour, I would advise something kind of shimmery and, I don't know, white. I'm actually just going to go ahead and use NARS Albatross, which is the highlighter that we put on our cheekbones. Same principle, works in the same way. I'm just going to apply it with a Sigma 217 blending brush, big and fluffy. That is it. That is my kind of springtime look for daytime. The focus is mostly just on purple and a little bit of taupe on the outside, but I like the kind of winged liner with it. I think that just kind of adds a bit of an accentuation on the eye shape, and also just kind of makes it a little bit more modern, a bit more fresh and stuff like that. So hope you guys enjoy the tutorial. If you would like to show me what your kind of ideal springtime look is, feel free to post it as a video response or just tell me about it in a comment below. I don't really mind. That's all I have to say on the matter. I'll see you guys in my next video. So have a great evening or a great day wherever you are, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.